YouTube. It looks like that's connecting right now. So cool. All right. Looks like we are live. Welcome, everyone, to another glorious social hour. We're excited that you're here.
Oh
We've
yeah.
got some awesome guests today. Some of them are here with us. Let's talk about our week. Let's talk about the last 2 weeks. What's been going on? What's been going on with you, Alex?
What has been going on? Oh man. Well, we had a great virtual Christmas party and we played some game I'd never played before, that bingo-y kind of game.
Yeah,
How'd you do with
Tambola.
that? Tembola.
Well, I did pretty good. Well, in the beginning, I wasn't doing so good. It's like bingo, those of you that don't know, which that was me up until a week ago. But it's like you have a bingo card, and there's different combinations of numbers and, different arrangements you can get to win. And at the end, I felt like I was doing pretty good. I had, I think, three numbers left to get like a blackout. But
Yeah.
What
I
is
think
it
that's
called
really what
again?
everybody had. It's called Tambola.
Cambola. We play a game similar, but it's called Pokino. I don't know if y'all have heard of that.
Oh, I remember Pokino.
It was my mother-in-law's favorite game. Like she would
Played
always
that when I
play,
was growing up.
which was
How do you play
probably
that?
so inappropriate because they had to bet, right? But she always played it with the grandkids like every Christmas until she passed away. It was one of her favorites.
So, Dave, what you played is Tombola, which is the Italian version of bingo.
Okay.
Tombola, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
some
Tambola.
India claims it too.
Yeah, we had our India team leading, our India HR
Oh
people leading it,
no.
which they were so funny. They were great. They did such a
They
good job.
were.
But yeah, I don't know the origin
So you needed me on that team. That's
exactly.
that's the Christmas Eve game in Italy every Christmas Eve.
That's so
I'm gonna
fun.
make me go look it up because we love playing games for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. We kind of
And
stay in and make the eggnog and hang out with the family and play games. So I'm gonna have to add that to the list.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so we did that for our company remote Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, holiday party.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Our
The
remote
week the week
holiday.
before we had for the locals, which you were unable to make the drive down, darn it.
Yep.
But we saw Moana 2, and that was fun as well. Yeah.
Was that good?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
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 Are you still
Can't
singing the
go
songs
wrong
from
with
it?
Moana.
Yeah.
Leave it to my 8-year-old granddaughter. Everything's better with Moana. Sage, that's her favorite.
Oh, that's cool. She even got a shout out on social hour. That's
My
awesome.
Sage Bear. Everybody knows her. She's all over my social media.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like the first one, the first Moana. I haven't
Yeah.
see the second one.
How about you, Dave? What have you been up to?
So let's see. Did we talk Thanksgiving? I don't
Okay,
know if
we
we did.
did talk Thanksgiving, and you were hyping us up about like a tofu turkey. You're giving us a taste of a vegan.
Prior? Was it prior to Thanksgiving that I was
Yeah,
talking about? Was it
yeah,
after?
it's prior.
Okay. Well, either way, it was a resounding success, and it was so cool. We had a bunch of people come out from all over the community, and it was kind of set up in a way that they just came and we just gave away all this free vegan Thanksgiving food. So we had turkey and stuffing, which wasn't turkey. It was, this substitute, but it was seasoned just like it, and mashed potatoes and just basically everything, pies, everything you could think of. So it was pretty cool to do that and just kind of give back on a day like that. So
Are
Yeah.
you normally vegan or was that just for that moment?
what's that?
Are you normally vegan?
I am, yeah. Yeah, so it's been a new transition for me as of like probably beginning of summer. So it's been fun finding all these different alternatives and
Uh-huh.
substitutes, the things that we're so used to eating.
Yeah.
But there's so many easy, delicious ways to make, the same thing or alternatives that really don't harm animals. So that's kind of the point of it for me. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I had to learn to my granddaughter's mom. She was vegan and she raised her the first 5 or 6 years vegan. So it was an adjustment for us too, but we learned.
Yeah. So different, right? So many things
But
we're
she's
accustomed
an
to,
animal
right?
person too. That's her reason for doing it
Yeah.
too.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to because we're on YouTube right now, and it might be confusing some people, but Facebook was like giving Dave headaches when he's trying to push us live.
Yeah, I went down.
So here we are on YouTube, and then we'll post this on Facebook later.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Yeah, so we've been talking what, Thanksgiving. Everybody else on the call here had a good Thanksgiving. Rita, how was your Italian Thanksgiving?
So I cook a lot, so it was multiple hours of eating with different things. But it was a little different because my son is in Rome, so getting his master's. So it was a little strange not having my son home for Thanksgiving. But the countdown begins. He arrives Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon, so I haven't seen him since August. So I'm excited about that. So it was a little quiet Thanksgiving, but Christmas Eve and Christmas are always a lot of fun in my neighborhood. So it's looking forward to spending time with family and friends and eating a lot.
Yeah. What about you, Julia? What about you? Any
A
fun
Hawaiian
holiday plans
Thanksgiving.
coming up or what's up?
Uh, Coming up, or you're talking about Thanksgiving?
Past or coming up? Yeah, just
Thanksgiving
holidays in
was a
general.
little different this year. My mom passed away on October 28th. And so, I was talking with my dad, like, what did we want to do? And we didn't want to do it at my house. We didn't want to do it at his house. So we did. We went to our favorite beach park, and all of like sisters-in-laws and nieces and nephews, as a huge group, probably about 40 of us. And we celebrated Thanksgiving at Carl Smith, which is a beach park down here in Hilo. And so the kids could go swimming and fishing, and just had a lot of food, a lot of food, and it was just a really nice, different Thanksgiving for us. So, but it really worked for all of us.
Talk about I who would not trade for that Thanksgiving, okay?
Yeah,
That's
hard to
For
like the
beat
best
real.
holidays.
alternative, right?
It was great.
It's awesome. What about you, Jennifer? How have your holidays been so far or going to be?
Oh, good. I'm not traveling anymore for a while, so I was excited just to be home. And my cousin announced that he's getting married, so we kind of had that kind of dynamic, kind of getting to know his fiance, and so that was kind of fun. That whole new family member coming into the scene and just enjoying. I went shopping online. I did that. Just chilled. It was fun.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good time to hunker down, lay low. It's hard with the time, the light, even just everything getting
Oh,
dark. I feel like I'm going to bed at like 7 o'clock and I'm like, what's going on?
I know.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks everybody for sharing a little bit of that holiday plans. Kimberly, I mean, we didn't really, you kind of gave us a little bit. Was there more that you've got coming up or excited about?
I actually hosted for Thanksgiving. I tend to host for Thanksgiving, and my kids and my sisters and all my family here come over, and me and my husband cook everything. He loves to cook. I know how to cook, but I don't like to cook, but I will help him. So we did that whole thing. And then for Christmas, we always go to my sister. So I'll duck out on that one. I won't have to host or clean or anything. I just bring my little dishes to her house, and we always go to her house in Frisco. So yeah, but we do a lot of family things. Luckily, I'm blessed that my family's here, my mom and my sisters. Most of you know my mom lives with me, and she has Alzheimer's and dementia. And my caveat today is her caregiver had to call out today because she had an emergency. So we're here alone, but we've been rocking. I told her we're gonna make it, me and her today. So we're doing good. I got her all settled, and she's eating her honey bun and watching her TV show. So hopefully she'll be good.
Nice. Well, we're glad that you could join us while you're taking care of her as well. So, what about you, Alex? Anything upcoming for you for the holidays?
Nope, just
See
ready
your
to.
tree.
Thank you. So this is the tree in our video game room.
Nice.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm not like a video gamer, but it's where the boys end up hanging out all
Sure.
the, you know what I'm
Nice
saying?
backtrack.
You don't
Yeah.
play
Right.
a
You know, you play some
Oh, it's
Mario. You
not
know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
play some Mario.
You
Tetris.
gotta
I'm
be a
so good at
player. You're a
Tetris.
boy.
Tetris.
Yeah. But yeah, we're just excited about the holidays coming up. School will be out soon, and so we'll have everybody running around the house like it's summertime, but in the winter. And we're looking forward to being with everybody. I don't know if you guys seen the 12 Rays promo. That's always a fun time to see how we've um, set Ray up in
Yeah.
different Christmas scenarios. So look, each day is a new one, and I think we're about on day 5. So there's 7 more if you haven't seen them.
Yeah,
I
I've
love
seen
it.
them come through. They're cute.
The 12 rays are always so fun. Yeah.
He's a good sport.
That's,
Y'all are so creative. I love the creativity.
Yeah.
mhm. Awesome. Yeah, I'll just be myself. I think I'm gonna head to St. George and hang out with my family over Christmas, and then I'll probably head back to Northern California where it's sunny and beautiful right now. So much like
Snow,
Hawaii.
the snow hasn't been piling up yet.
Not yet, no. It looks like we might get a little bit over the next couple days, so it'll be just in time for me to leave right after the snow. So it'll be perfect timing. Well, cool. Um, we're gonna bring Rita, Kimberly, and Jennifer back, but I think for now we're gonna just transition over to Julia Mitchell, and we want to talk with Julia about your article, Mindfulness Management to Manage Stress, and that's a mouthful. So, do you want to give us a little bit of, I don't know, I was gonna try and throw another M word in there to add some more alliteration, but I'm not going to because it's not Monday. All right. So, mindful management to manage stress. What was the inspiration behind your article and kind of how did that come to be?
Well, mindfulness, in general, it started about 2 years ago. I really started getting in more deeply into mindfulness and meditation, in particular. 2022 was an extremely stressful year for me, and just from work and a family situation, as well as you know, just building up stress and anxiety, which kind of triggered a chronic condition I had to be really like flare up. So you know, I work for a really big company and we have like these healthy pathway programs and that we participate in, and then you get a reduction in right in your health premium. So one of the sections was called Rethink, and I had been avoiding it because it was like kind of longer sessions that you had to complete. But when I finally logged into it, it was about mindfulness and meditation and optimism, and then that just led to learning about guided meditation, which led to mindful meditation, because there's different types of meditation. There's guided, there's mantra, there's mindfulness. And then, of course, yoga is a part of meditation, Tai Chi, if you know what Tai Chi is, as well as Qigong, which is another Chinese medicine of learning how to breathe and calm yourself. But I mean, really, mindfulness is about paying attention to your body and to focus on the present, and accept what's happening, but also to let it go and learn to be, sorry, my animals are about ready to go
Surrender.
off, but you know,
Surrender to
to get rid of those negative thoughts, to be positive, to not be judgmental, which can happen when you are overly stressed or anxious. So, I started with guided meditation, which is when you're listening to someone speak and they're telling you how to breathe and what to focus on. And that led me then to mindful meditation, which is really yourself and finding a quiet place um, where you focus on your breathing, and those thoughts that come into your mind, you just acknowledge them, but then you let them go. And it's kind of like water flowing down or trickling down a stream, right? They come in and they go out. And it really helped me regulate my emotions, right? So you're not overreacting or you're not being self-defensive, right? You don't take things really personally anymore. You learn to, calm yourself. And then as you practice meditation, especially mindful meditation, at first you're sitting in a quiet place with your eyes closed and just focusing on your breathing, in and out. Um, but then you can start adding activities to that, like body scans where, like for me, for stress, I hold it in my head, in my upper back and my mid back, right? So you focus on those bodies and you focus on the sensations that you're feeling, is it tingling, do you have pain? And you then try to soften those areas, right? You soften the muscles in your face and your neck, and you can keep going down all the way down to your toes, where you're ending up in a very relaxed, your body's relaxed, you're not tense. And again, focusing on that breathing. When you find yourself your mind wandering, right? Because you want to just let go of those images and sensations, right? But if you find you're focusing on something in particular, you focus back on your breathing, right? To let those images or sensations go. And it really does work, right? There are studies out there. There's actual interventions based on mindfulness, right? There's mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is MBSR. There's also mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT. And so my dad likes to call it my voodoo, but it really does help. Like when I mentioned my mother passing, it is been a great help in the grief process, because it's not only for stress and anxiety, but also for any kind of trauma, grief. You can apply it to anything, and where I would normally, maybe do it 2 or 3 times a day, for the last 6 weeks, I've been doing it more often, like 3 or 4 times a day. But I do want people to know that there's no wrong way to meditate or to be mindful. Uh, it's just something that you should practice every day. Maybe set a goal for once a day for 6 months, and then you'll find that you are doing it more often. And then you're finding that you don't have to do it sitting down with your eyes closed and being calm, right? You can do it while you're walking. You can do it while you're washing the dishes. I do it if I have to give a presentation, not only to a chapter, but even at work, right? And there's a couple hundred people there, sometimes you feel a little anxious about that, but I spend like a couple of minutes doing some breathing exercises, to calm myself down and center myself. Um, but it really is helpful. And if you're, want to try it out, there's something called the 333 for beginners. And you can just look around your room, or you can think of 3 images, then 3 smells, hopefully nice smells. For those of you who know me, I live on a farm, so I smell pigs, chickens, and other animals. But I also smell flowers and the rain. But 3 smells or sounds, and 3 body parts, and you just start that way, right? By thinking of those images and then letting them go. Same with the smells or sounds. And then with your body parts, right? Concentrating on 3 different body parts as well. All again while you're breathing. But it reduces stress, anxiety. It improves your thinking and your focus. It can also like lower blood pressure, right? It can help with some chronic conditions, right? If you're always stressed or anxious, your blood pressure is going to be high. So it helps with that as well. But also work-life balance. And, I just recently went to a Vahini forum here in Honolulu, and it was all for women, and it was all about work-life balance. And we had some of our top leaders in some of our largest companies here, like our electric company and our Hawaiian Trust. They're all led by women. And one of them said, what she does to wash away the day is she bathes at night, and that she recommended that we all do that, right? We all bathe at night and wash away our day and get into our daily routine at home. And and relax. And so I've incorporated my one of my mindfulness meditations in the shower, right? I throw in a shower steamer. I don't listen to music. I concentrate on my breathing, but you could listen to music as well. But you can do the whole body scan while you're bathing, and you know what I mean? And when you step out of that, when I step out of the shower, I am like so relaxed and so ready for the evening and not even thinking about, my stress at work or what have you. So you learn how to incorporate it in other activities, so you just don't have to be sitting, right, and being still.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind of the point, right? It's getting to a point where you can quiet your mind when you need to, and you can use it when you need to. Um,
exactly.
yeah, and because most of us running around with our minds using us, right? In that high beta brainwave state where it's fight or flight almost all day long, right? And very rarely do we take time to just bring it down. Like you said, get centered. Um, Powerful stuff. Big favorite topic of mine. I love talking about it, but go on
Hey,
to give
these
me more
help.
tips about it.
This doesn't help,
The
right?
No,
phone.
the
Like,
phone. No.
I'm just as far not just calling, but right, just all of the things that we can access quick, news and everything that creates those things that Dave is talking about. The fears and not us controlling where we want to go with our thoughts, but other things
Right.
leading us.
And depending on the situation, you may want to, use guided, right? If in the beginning, well, especially for my grief process, mindfulness, I was having a hard time, right, getting images out of my head. So
Sure.
I went to guided, right? I'm listening to them, I'm following their instructions. I don't have to think, right? So the different techniques of meditation, you want to try different techniques for whatever fits the situation. But what to remember about meditation is number one, there's no wrong way to do it. And number two, it doesn't have to take a long time. You can 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And there's a lot of great websites and apps that you can use. I like, it's called calm.com. And on YouTube, they have like a daily calm that you can use, again, 3, 5, 10 minutes. And for guided meditation, but they also have other mantra and that sort of thing. But and then websites, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Hal Elrod. He's really big with meditation as well. He has a meditation morning program on his website. So there are plenty of apps and articles that you can read, to learn more about the different types of meditation and what would work for you. But I definitely, recommend it. I think, in healthcare, it's high stress. I work for a health payer. It's very high stress. And also, I'm a people leader, which adds another layer of stress, right? And I also have a large family, and, dealing with, lots of family
Everyone's energies
it's
too,
it's
right?
just a lot. But
Yeah. Wow.
you can anyone of any age, like I've started my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, who's 14. You know how if you have a 14-year-old or have been around a 14-year-old girl, how that can be. But she has started to do guided meditation to really help herself calm down and not take things personally, at that age, right? In high school, lots of things
So
happen,
helpful.
right?
Yeah.
Friendships and how kids just can be. It's kind of tough in high school nowadays, right? So she has started to do guided meditation twice a day in the morning and at night, and I've really seen an improvement, in her being able to control her emotions and be focused and pay attention to what's going on. Because really, for mindfulness, right, you're paying attention to the present and
Yeah.
not letting
Where
anything
your
else.
where your attention goes, your energy flows. And it's so true. And the second we turn our attention to our body, like you said, our breathing, all of a sudden it brings us to the present moment. There's no way you can't be in the present moment. So it's really interesting. There's a few of those little portals, and I love that you mentioned that about the body and just getting to the breathing part. Uh, Um,
Exactly. Well, the breathing, body scans are really important too, right?
yeah,
Just
when you're visualizing those areas,
visualize. Yeah. And
you're sending energy to those areas. I think, man, if we could only see really how much our thoughts and our intention plays a part in our reality, I think
exactly.
we'd be amazed, I think. Well, cool. Julie, this is such a good topic. I'd love to hear more of what you have to say on it, but we've got other guests we got to get to. For all of you that have been watching and want to know more about it, please read the article. Let me
It's
get
a
it right
mouthful,
here.
I know.
It said mindfulness management to manage stress, which I mean that's the whole key right there. That's a good life hack too, because stress will age us and everything else. So love it. Thanks,
Thank
Julie.
you.
Thank you, Julia.
Thanks.
All right, so let's bring back Rita and Jennifer and Kimberly. I feel like
No.
as she was talking, as Julie was talking about the mindfulness, I could just feel myself just winding down. Like visualize your shoulders and your toes. And I'm like, you're not even doing a meditation, a
Mhm.
guided one, but I'm feeling this. So
My full-time job, we do it weekly, and it's done by our EAP department, and they do this whole PowerPoint where they give you apps and encouraging, sayings and articles. We even have this cool little book that they give us, and it's like a little wellness book. I don't know if y'all could see that. The sun is really shining in this office now. But and you pull a little card, and it helps you recharge. But yeah, they're real big on the whole promoting mindfulness, meditation, and because it get
That's
hard.
really cool.
Mhm.
So I don't do that, but I have this book on my desk that an employer sent to me, and it's really cute. I don't know if you can see it. Ah, Larry,
Yeah,
do one
yeah.
thing every day that makes you happy. And so every day there's like a new little thing that it has you do. And so you put like a date in there, and you like do the thing it asks you to do. And it's kind of fun. So
Oh, yeah. I know. I'm like, whatever works, right? We have to
yeah.
find our happy place.
yeah, and I like that
Yes.
a lot of companies are just trying to provide more opportunities to take those breaks away from work, clear your mind. I think they're realizing that we can balance it better, they'd have more effective employees, so
Yeah.
giving
Absolutely.
a little bit too.
And
So
I think there's a lot of EAP departments where there wasn't before. Like we have a calendar every month that we get that says, oh, uh, plan a plan, or take a walk
Mhm.
around
Yep.
the office, or like every day, like for you to do something that comes out
Yeah.
every month.
Yeah, they do that too. They tell you stand up. They even did this whole thing where ergonomically for those, because I have I forgot the name of it now, but it rises up and down. I
yeah,
Oh,
got it
the
for
stand
one
up
of my,
desk. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it
Oh
actually,
yeah,
you did it, Alex, when you were doing everybody's crib. And I
yeah.
think you did Catherine's, or someone that you did, either Catherine or Colleen or someone, and they had the desk, and that's what made me go get the desk. And so they just teach you different exercises that you can do, like once you stand the desk up, how to move around, just to keep yourself mobile. Because we used to work in the office every day, and now we only work in the office one day a week. And so sitting
Hmm.
at home, you just, it's amazing how much you don't pay attention, how long you can just sit if you
Hmm.
don't make
Oh,
yourself
you have
move.
no idea. Oh my
I know.
I
gosh.
I thought
Yes.
that too, Kimberly. Just
Oh,
that since we've transitioned to a remote workforce, for the most part at AAPC, that the day flies, and you're
Yeah.
like, holy cow! Like in the office, you would walk across the office to the kitchen or go talk to this person or that
mhm.
person, but here, just hanging out, doing my
Yeah, I'll
thing.
even look up and it'll be
Yeah.
4:30 and I haven't even had lunch.
Yeah.
Just busy.
Yeah, oh,
And I'm like,
same. My husband's like, "Did you eat?" I was like, "I don't remember."
I wish it was working to make me get all fine and everything, but it's not working.
mhm. Yeah, it
I work
requires
in
a
the
whole
office
new
almost every day,
discipline.
and I don't move either.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the secret is to that, but
Yeah, we're all still figuring it out, but I love that what Julia, is figuring out with the meditation, the mindfulness, and spurring a conversation, extending into this of
she shared
trying to
that.
balance
Yeah,
things
that was
better.
so
Yeah,
fun.
it's so important, especially during the holidays.
Yeah,
It's a good time to reflect
Yeah,
and reset, even, with the new year coming up and set
yeah.
some new goals and be like, you know what, let's do things a little bit differently, maybe a little bit better this year. So,
Good for
speaking of
focus.
stuff that's coming up next year, we've got an event, another boutique event coming up. So we just had AuditCon last week. Yeah, it was last week. And in February, we have RevCon coming up. So who on this call wants to tell us what RevCon's all about? Is it just a cool name for like an automobile show that we're doing or what?
We're not.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to for RevCon this year. I think all of us, what we do in healthcare, we may realize we're all part of the revenue cycle, as we call
Mhm.
it. So I like how it takes different pieces from the revenue cycle. From every piece of it, from the time the encounter gets started to the time we get paid and hopefully keep that money, how that works all in between. So it's really cool.
Yes, and I love that it's virtual, right? I just talked about
Yes.
how it's so good to connect and network virtually, and it brings, I call them all kissing cousins, right? All of us, the little medical auditing, medical coding, medical billing, medical compliance, right? But that's what we are. We all need each other. And so I think RevCon is a great place virtually to bring all those together so we can all collaborate. We can understand, what each other's perspective are, because we see things in different lenses, but we all working
True.
toward that
It's
same
true.
goal. So I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
And I also think from a revenue perspective, understanding the whole circle of it, and most people
Yeah.
don't realize the point of entry is the beginning of the revenue cycle process.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of getting all these aspects and understanding what affects the end result from a
Mm-hmm.
domino, process. So like, if you don't get
Yeah.
this right, is what might happen and so forth. So I really love the fact that people really are getting a true understanding of the entire revenue cycle process.
Yeah. And I tell everybody I started from the beginning. Like I was a unit
Mm-hmm.
secretary and then I was a check in and out person. So it's like
Yep.
I started from that very foundation. And now
Same.
I'm a compliance analyst.
Yep.
So I love, just always keeping in the know and, meeting with business of healthcare professionals that's in the different areas. So yeah.
Yes.
This sounds so broad for the revenue cycle that if I were a student, it sounds like something that I might want to jump into just to kind of
Yes.
get different a taste
Yes.
of different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and if you go into
Absolutely.
coding and you're going to get your CPC, for instance, you may not get all of the ins and outs that you're going to need for your job, like in the real world, because you're studying for an exam, and you need the real world kind of guidance when you get there. It's not just coding. You're going to have to know revenue cycle things whenever you get into a job. So it's a great event to kind of give those new coders a jump into what they're going to expect.
It's also giving new coders an opportunity to understand that there are multiple positions out there that you can use your CPC for. So you don't necessarily have to be a coder. You can be an authorization specialist. You can be AR, access. There's so many different positions available in revenue that you can use your certification for.
I love
Great.
too different entities that you can use it at too. You don't just have to work for a provider's office, right? You can
Mhm.
work for an insurance company. You can work for a law firm that does
Oh,
any type
yes.
of regulatory compliance things. So yeah, I love this industry because of that. And it's amazing to me, even when we network at places like RevCon, we meet people that work in entities that I would never even think of
Yeah.
that I could work.
Mhm.
I met a lady and she was an RN and she was a practicing RN forever. Well, now she works for an insurance company doing quality and she's gotten her CPC credential as well. So it's just so amazing
Excellent.
how we can meet people just
Mhm.
across all walks, be it clinicians
Yes.
or just professionals, and we can all come together in that one venue of RevCon and share our experiences, our knowledges, and learn from each other, right? Because there are things
Yep.
no one knows everything, right? If you think you do, you don't.
Mhm.
It's always room to learn from
I'm
others. So
still learning every day.
I know, me
Same.
too. It's like even the things I think I know, I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't know that. It's something new I learned. So it's like lifetime learners,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the three of you, each of you speaking at RevCon?
Yes.
Yes. We
Oh,
are. Yes.
we.
We're
You want to give us
excited.
a little rundown of what you're going to be speaking about? Maybe starting with Jennifer?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Jennifer McNamara. For those who don't know, I'm very honored to be part of this event. It's my first time speaking at RevCon. I usually get to speak at HealthCon, which is one of my favorite events to go to. But I was chosen to speak on a topic of prior authorizations, and they didn't know at the time, but it's one of my passions. And back in the day, I was the prior authorization specialist. I worked in an orthopedic office. And I was, the checkout person, the coder, the biller, and prior authorization. So I did it all for this position on that side. So I kind of learned, I was pushed into it. I had to figure it out. I had to figure out why these things were not getting approved, the best workflows. So I've designed this presentation to be more of a workflow and process improvement for practices. There are things we can't avoid with prior authorizations. You can't solve every problem and you can't understand every little thing. So it starts with you. What can you do in your practice to improve the workflow? Understanding what the insurance company's thinking. Do they have a policy? What is it? And then how do we work through that? What are the things that coders can do to help improve that process? Using coders to help you get the right codes on the authorization, for instance, and utilizing everybody in the organization to do their part. And that's what it's about. Avoiding common pitfalls in denials that you can help avoid on your own. What can you personally do to not be part of the problem? And that's what we want to get across to the audience.
Nice. Yeah. How not to be the weakest link, right?
Yes,
Or
exactly.
or to have and identify other links and resolve them. Weak links.
Exactly.
Only the weak ones. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, Jennifer, and thanks for introducing yourself too. I neglected to give
That's
any
okay.
introductions, so I'm glad you did. Kimberly Jolivet Williams, give us a little introduction and tell us what you were going to be speaking on.
Yes, so I would be talking about a deep dive on unbundling those modifiers, our unbundling modifiers. And so understanding and applying modifiers in our industry is crucial, right? And like Jennifer said, for us to keep the payments that we are getting, we have to make sure when we apply those modifiers, we understand what documentation is needed, what it's conveying. I do a presentation called Modifiers Convey a Narrative, right? The narrative that modifiers convey. And when you apply those, you have to make sure you understand what you're applying, make sure your documentation is there to support that modifier and that story that is being told. Because I do agree, we're painting that medical picture, like Sanal Patel always says, and that's what the modifiers do. So I plan to come and try to foster just the collaboration, also understand the clinical understanding of why the modifier is needed and why we as business and healthcare professionals need to make sure we get that and we apply it correctly, because it will help when we face those NCCI edits and other things that we need to make sure that are soundproof and safeguarded so we can maintain the payments that we receive and also encourage the reimbursements that the doctors deserve.
Deep dive modifiers. Love it. Alex, what do you know about modifiers? Can you name a modifier for us?
Modifier 29.
Oof.
I don't use that one very often.
Yes, because I know it's after 28 and before 30. That's why I like it the
My
best.
favorite too.
Hey,
We want to have you guys
now,
speak on modifiers.
I need everybody to help Alex. Let him know. Do we have a modifier 29?
Yeah.
I personally never used it, but
No,
I use 25 a lot, and yeah.
There's a modifier that recently caused some a kerfuffle, if you will.
Kerfuffle.
Yeah. It was it 20,
I like that word.
25?
That's the one. It's
Okay.
it's the bad boy that Sanal Patel and I call it the bad boy
Yes,
of modifiers.
25.
Okay.
Yes.
The bad
And
boy
it's
modifier.
The
because
Johnny Depp of
Yes.
modifiers.
Yep, and
Yes,
it has
yes, you can say yes. Yeah,
cousin
or
is
John Mayer.
59.
Yeah,
John Mayer.
yeah.
Love it. Johnny Depp, John Mayer of modifiers. 25.
Those Johnnies. Goodness.
That's great.
Hey,
Well,
I'm
cool.
kind of curious because there are many people who might be skeptical or may not have experience with a virtual conference. And Dave, we've talked a lot about this. You are so very involved with them. How did it go with AuditCon? And how can someone get the most out of that virtual conference experience?
That's a really good question because we actually transitioned to a new platform that we're using. We have an app, a conference app on the phone, and the conference app works seamlessly between your phone, also on your laptop, so you can join sessions really easily. The last way or the prior way that we were doing it, it still worked well. You would click on a link to join a session if there was one you wanted to go to, and it would link out to a Zoom room. Now everything just stays all within the platform, so you never even have to leave the web page at all, or the app on the phone. So it all is
Very
just all
cool.
right in there. Yeah, it's really nice. You're able to interact, you're able to chat with the speakers. If you've never attended any sort of conference with us before, we have subject matter experts all across this field of revenue cycle, and they give their expertise, and you can interact with them, ask questions, and they'll respond. There's also so many networking opportunities with these conferences too. But just because it's virtual and it's not face to face, I definitely wouldn't feel like you're missing out on any of the great content. The networking is a little bit different. We try and encourage a lot of networking virtually, which can be a challenge sometimes as opposed to face, but we do the best that we can to get people engaging with each other, learning who's even in their local area or in their local chapter or in the same specialty that they're in. Man, especially if you're in some unique specialty where there's maybe not a lot of you, these conferences are a great way to connect with other, I guess you could say, outliers. And that's my little
Mhm.
spiel for it. But
And I heard about AuditCon from someone, and they shared that there was a new platform and they had
Mhm.
positive things to say. They really liked it. So I'm excited. I told them I can't wait to use it for REVCON. But yes, one of my
Yes,
colleagues told me it
awesome.
was really nice.
that's good. Yeah, we're always just trying to make the experience better, for everybody involved, and better for us too, and easier to accomplish these things because then we could do more of them and put even more care and effort into it rather than having to worry about all the, you know, how
Mhm.
everything's supposed to work. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. And Rita, so you're going to be
Hey,
speaking at RevCon, aren't you? Do you want to give us an
yes,
introduction and tell us what you're going to be talking about?
sure. I like the way, and so I'm Rita, like Cher. I only know me from one name.
Yeah.
Uh,
Madonna, right? Is
yeah,
another
thanks.
Shakira,
So
Madonna.
very honored to speak at RevCon. It is, I believe, my third time speaking at RevCon. I love it because it is, revenue is one of my passions. That's actually something that I'm heavily involved in. But the one piece I'm talking about is healthcare analytics. So, data is your friend is always my introduction to that. It's actually speaking about the importance of analytics for decision support in a lot of different areas like RVU allocation, budgeting, uh, market share, quality scoring, KPIs, as well as also measuring your revenue and productivity. So it's basically displaying a visibility that people can do within their systems, either daily or monthly or even weekly. I mean, there's different reports that I've created that, trigger at certain times of the month for me to be able to review. And also, I always talk about data when you look at certain reporting to be able to assist you with creating a case for additional staffing, right? So if your volume increases and you only have certain people doing the coding, how are you able to justify getting an additional staff member? But I was always someone that wasn't exactly thrilled with running data, but now it's like become my life because there's so many things that we need to look at in the
Mhm.
data format. So, and I make it fun. So, see you then.
Sounds
That
good.
is true. That is
That's
true.
smart. Make it
Data can
fun.
make a lot of people's eyes just glaze over, but if
Mhm.
it's data with
Mhm.
Rita, maybe not so bad. Maybe I could do that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hearing
Sure.
you talk about making data fun. I love it.
I did hear you talk with your doctor as well before about a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit of that, and that's very nice. You all did a very good job on that as well. So I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it for REVCON.
Mhm.
Thank you. I mean, I love watching and hearing everyone that speaks at all our conferences because you always learn something. You always take away something from every session. And I think that's, those little pearls that you like tuck away. And then you're like, I know who I can reach out to ask that question
Yeah.
because you're living it. Right. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of networking at the AAPC.
Mhm.
And I love it too
Absolutely.
because they give us those good authoritative resources So maybe
Mhm.
it's something that I didn't think about and I didn't know how to find it or where to look it up. And so now I can always go back to those presentations and see those speaker notes in their presentation where they give the resources. And you can always have that to fall back on too. I love that as well.
Absolutely. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, and lots of other ways to interact, even during the virtual event. When we're in person, we've got we'll do giveaways on stage, or Alex will be up there just throwing towels at people or whatever. But we still
Oh,
do some of
I
those.
never caught one this whole time I've been at HealthCon. Never caught a towel.
We'll order some towels, Alex, and we'll bring
Yeah.
some. We'll get the towel gun
The
shooting
cannon.
thing.
Yeah.
We'll do that, yeah, the cannon, and then you'll definitely get one because that's just fun. But there are ways to interact in the virtual setting as well, and you can win prizes. We have challenge questions throughout the platform, and they're actually kind of a challenge. I haven't done them
Hmm.
myself, but everybody that's done them is like, man, this is
Oh
tricky.
man.
It's meant to help you kind of
Yes.
platform. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt in a way. So, but you have the ability to win some pretty great prizes. And as some of you know, a lot of times we give away free conference registration, and we'll just
I
give
know a
away
couple people.
pretty
I know a
hefty
couple
prizes.
people
So,
that won. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure there's people that have come to conferences for free for probably the last 3 years, just keep winning, right? And just
Oh,
keep going
I
to these
know that
events.
person.
oh.
I'm not that person either, but that's cool though. I
Hey,
know people. I know
we've had
people who have been
the
blessed.
last 2 or 3 years, like since the pandemic, we've had so many crazy contests, like crazy and like the amount of stuff
Yeah.
we've given away. This year isn't so
Oh
much,
yeah.
but it would be easier
Yeah.
to get a pass to HealthCon than
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
definitely take advantage of it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Take advantage of the opportunities within the conference to get
Yeah.
more conferences, right? And then also there are yeah, there's so many different ways to network
Yep.
I
Mhm.
meant
with
I
each
Hey,
other.
forgot
That
to
was the
mention,
other thing I was thinking of.
I
I
am doing a breakout session for the network luncheon that we're doing on the Wednesday. So yes, that will be a great opportunity to network as well.
I have a request. I'm going to put each of our guests on the spot. First, Rita, I'm going to start with you because I think our relationship is strong enough to make it through what's going to happen. But would you give a 30-second to a minute summary to a veteran coder, someone like yourself who may feel like, why would I need RevCon? I know a lot. I've got what I need. Why would you ask them to attend?
Well, I can tell you, I've been in this business a long time, 35 years. One of those coders that have like all the zeros in front of their name for their membership number, and the last three digits is numeric. So that's how long I've been with the AAPC. I believe that you never stop learning. You never stop growing. That is why you want to go back to get your bachelor's, your master's, additional certifications. You always add that on your resume, right? I have experienced this, or I have taken this course, or I've completed this session, because it really spotlights that you want to grow and continue to grow. We can all say we know our fields, but we don't know everything. And there's always a new rule that you're surprised by, or a new CPT code that you didn't know existed, because it may be not something that you use all the time. So, from a senior, I should say seasoned, I would say seasoned, from a seasoned AAPC member, it really is something that you really need to concentrate on and be part of all of these conferences, because I honestly could say I have learned something every time, and I've used it. There's something that has come up where I've needed to use something that I've learned at RevCon or AutoCon or DocuCon. I mean, all the ones that we have, HealthCon. And HealthCon, we monitor the rooms, right? And sometimes I'm not always in the room that I would have probably picked that session, but I enjoy the session because it is different and I learned something that I know nothing about. And it kind of adds to the flavor of who you are when you are a leader, especially if you're a leader in revenue. Unbelievable what you can do with that. But if you're just starting, that's a wonderful thing to do as well. But if you've been around, you want to continue to grow, right? Don't kind of put yourself in this box that says, okay, I know everything and now hey, I'm not going to do it anymore, because you're only doing yourself a disservice when you
Yep.
do that.
Yep. I love it. The other end of the pendulum for me, just thinking this through, would be a student, someone who is just getting into coding, maybe in their program. Kimberly, I know you educate a lot of students, and are they going to be in over their head if they come to this? How would you approach it if you were a student coder coming to RevCon?
Well, I definitely think RevCon is a great thing for all levels, whether you're a novice and you're learning, whether you're intermediate or you're advanced. The wonderful thing about it is some of the sessions are catered to that as well. They have different levels of knowledge that we share, and we have some that are for, okay, I'm just now getting into the revenue cycle, into the billing arena, and I want to learn, or I'm an advanced person. But I think there's a session that's there for everyone, especially if you're new, because if nothing else, you can get around different professionals at different levels, right? You one will see you're not the only one just starting, right? I tell my students that I am privileged, that I am an AAPC built instructor. So I meet a lot of new billing students, and I tell them all the time, even when it comes to just going to local chapter meetings, some of them are intimidated because they're like, I'm not certified yet. And I'm like, you don't have to wait until you get certified. Go now so you can get the environment, see what the culture is like, get the experience, and then you'll know even better where you fit in, what you want to do next. And so I think RevCon is a great opportunity for that. And I encourage all students, if you're interested on any level of revenue cycle management, definitely come to RevCon, and you'll have those opportunities where you can make those one-on-one connections. So now you're not by yourself. In this remote world, I have so many colleagues that some of them, like Jennifer, I feel like Jennifer and I are so close, but we've never met in person, you all. Everything we have done has been virtual, but we're two of the closest
True.
colleagues that work together. And so I think that that's where you develop some of those long lasting colleague relationships. And you don't always have to have the face to face to have value. We have value
Oh,
even when
sure.
we're virtual and we're remote. And I think RevCon is a great opportunity for that.
Finally, for Jennifer, like what would your approach be to someone registering for RevCon? Because there are different tracks, I'm assuming. And
Mhm.
how would you go about selecting your tracks to best give you the best opportunity?
Well, for me, I work as a consultant, so don't work for an actual employer, and I'm always looking at some ways that I can benefit those practices that I work with. And so I think, okay, what am I working on right now, and where are the issues I'm having? I have some clients that have issues with contracting, credentialing, or they have issues with denial management. And so I think, okay, what do I need to take away to take back to my organization or my client? So I would do is look at the sessions to figure out, where your best fit would be. And the other two ladies were great to talk about, newbies and those that are seasoned. We all have something that we're going to take from this, but make it meaningful for you. When I go to HealthCon every year, I go to the same kind of sessions every year. Like sometimes I'll be going to oncology because I'm doing that, or I'll be going to ENT or orthopedics. It just depends on where I'm at that moment. So find your piece that you need to take back.
And it's
Awesome.
always evolving, right? Everything's always evolving. Everything we learned last year, even coming to RevCon this year, you're going to learn more because things are always changing.
Oh,
That's the
yes.
wonderful thing about our industry. If you're bored and you get tired, just wait. When the new year come around, you're going to have something new to learn. We have so many new codes in ICD-10 and so many new codes in CPT, so many things that's going to
Yes.
impact the revenue cycle that you're going to learn that wasn't there in 2024 that you can learn in
Like
2020.
telehealth.
Mhm.
Telehealth's going to be crazy next year.
Yes.
Yes, and the billing part of that, right? If you're a biller, to be able to understand the ins and outs of what's going to happen in 2025 with telehealth. So I said there's always something new that's evolving and emerging, so you can always learn.
I think conference
Yes.
opens a lot of doors for people as well, no matter what conference that you go to, because you may think that you love what you do, and then all of a sudden you have this interest sparks while you heard somebody speak, or it's a disease base that you always wanted to learn about and didn't think you could, and now like, oh, let me see if I should do that. And it opens doors even for additional certifications when you start to go to a lot of these sessions. And there's a lot of job opportunities out there when you go to these conferences as well, because there's a lot of networking, no matter whether it's virtual or in person.
Yes, and it's so funny you say that about credentials, because I laugh because people always talk about my alphabet soup behind my name.
Mhm.
But I tell everybody, every credential that I have behind my name, it was because I needed it for the role I was in working. I didn't just sit around and
Same.
say, oh, I'm gonna go get this today. It was because I grew,
Yeah.
I learned more, I had
Mhm.
to learn, I had to do more, so I needed the credential to validate that. And so, and
Yeah,
again, like
exactly.
you said, to Rita, I never thought I'd be an instructor, you guys. I never thought. Some of you know
Same.
my road and my name, how I got to be an instructor. That was never on my radar. But because I started
Mhm.
networking and connecting with people in this business of healthcare arena, now I'm an instructor for AAPC for the build program. So you just never know where it will lead to.
Great, great, great stuff.
That's also awesome. Um, so RevCon, wow. If you need a better plug than that, I don't think it exists. But RevCon is going to be happening February 25th and 26th. So it's coming up in a couple months. But we do have some early bird pricing going on right now that you should be aware of. So on the AAPC website, I think members pay $545 for that conference, which is a pretty good discount. And that is running until the day after Christmas, which in Canada they call Boxing Day. So after Boxing Day, it goes back up to probably the normal price. So if you're interested at all, you can save a little bit of money and pick it up on the ABC website in the next couple weeks. So
Yes, and
Awesome.
make sure y'all tell them to share with your employers. If you have an employer like me, I work a full-time job. I go to my employers and I list all of those benefits. If you invest and sponsor me, I'll pay half if you pay half, right? Encourage them to support you. Show that you're willing to invest in yourself, but ask for their help and list what's your top 5 reasons why they can invest in you, because your knowledge is going to impact your company all for the better.
Exactly.
This
Mhm.
could be the gateway to get
Totally.
you to HealthCon, our national conference, just
Yeah,
showing the value that you bring from one of our virtual
Yes.
conferences.
exactly.
Absolutely.
okay, yep. Ask your employer. Give them lots of reasons why it could be beneficial to their organization. There are endless reasons why. So hopefully,
And I also think that many people don't know what their organization offers. One
Right.
of the first conversations I had with one of my employees is what, educational benefits there are, because a lot of people don't understand that or know it. So you could always check on that too. Like,
yeah.
do I have a stipend? Do I have a yearly education stipend that I could utilize for conference? And also, when you talk to your employer and say you don't have this, and talk about why it's beneficial for you to go, tell them that you'll bring it back to the company. Tell them you'll do a presentation. You'll review what you learned, and this way you will demonstrate that this is, hey, a great place for us to go to for education.
Okay.
Great one.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think that about covers it for today. Thank you all for joining
All
us.
right.
Thanks for
Thank you for
watching.
having us.
Jennifer, Rita, Kimberly, Julia. Thank you all. Alex, as
Hey,
always.
Dave, before we hug, it's our last broadcast for the year. So because we're on, the next scheduled one would be Christmas Day, and I'll be hanging out at Jennifer's house with her husband and her drinking eggnog and, just chilling. So, but I guess we'll be back on the second week of January.
Yeah, is that the 8th? Is that right?
That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
We'll
Rita's
catch you
back on
then.
that one too.
I said I end the year and I begin the year.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
wonderful one. That is the honor
Excellent
to serve
privilege.
and end the year. I'm so excited. I get to close out 2024 with social hour. That's wonderful.
Right.
Y'all hear that,
I
Richardson,
will.
Texas chapter? Shout out to
I
my
will see you
local
guys
chapter.
then.
Sounds good. Merry Christmas and
See
happy
you
holidays
later.
to
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Take
Merry
care.
Christmas.
Bye.
Happy New Year.